Hey everyone, this is the Bearded Zito. We've got another great television show to review tonight, and that is the series premiere of Better Call Saul. A little background, I fucking loved Breaking Bad. That is one of the best TV series ever. I think it was fantastic. Just to see Walter White go from, goody two-shoes scientist to the villain, from protagonist to antagonist of the show, and you still rooted for him. Fantastic show, fantastically written, so many amazing characters, and one of the standout characters of that show, I kicked my tripod, was Saul Goodman, the lawyer. And now he gets his own spin-off prequel series. Well, it's not entirely a prequel series, and that's because we gotta talk about the opening here. The opening, my notes, the song reminds me of Fallout. I'm pretty sure it's by the same artist as the opening song from, what song I'm talking about. The song I'm talking about from Fallout 3. You know what I'm talking about. Pretty much has the same beat. It's got the same, I know it's the same singer, so. But it's a completely different song, different lyrics. I would love to know what this song is, because I really did love that Fallout 3 song. But it was really cool to see that, and we see that Saul worked, I should have changed that in my notes, is to working at a Cinnabon. And you see that Saul has really thinning hair, he's got glasses, he's got a mustache. Did he have glasses? I think he had glasses. Maybe. I don't know, I was too busy writing notes during the whole scene. I think he had glasses because my next note was that where was it? Saul looks like Vince Gilligan. I think that's on purpose here. Just like, hey look, Saul kind of looks like Vince Gilligan, the creator of the series. That's tongue-in-cheek. And it's like you catch like the profile of him, looks like Vince Gilligan, especially with the thinning hair up in the front. I felt that was a real. I really feel that was a Vince Gilligan Easter egg, honestly. And the whole entire opening is in black and white to suggest like an old rustic feel-good type thing where he's remembering. But the thing is, he's not remembering. That's actually in present time. This stinger, the opening stinger, takes place before Breaking Bad. You can see that Saul is clearly older, and you could tell that he is reminiscent of when he was Saul Goodman, because he goes to the closet, gets a VHS tape, puts it in, and plays, and it's all his old commercials when he was Saul. So clearly this takes place after Breaking Bad, whenever he leaves and changes his name. And there's also a guy in the Cinnabon that he looks kind of muscly looking, and Saul clearly got disheveled when the guy was coming up. He's like, oh shit. And he almost had a breakdown. It turns out the guy was just going to go to his little girl and his wife. But still, something is up with Saul in the real world. He fears that somebody's hunting him down, maybe. Maybe that guy, he thought maybe that guy was an FBI agent coming to get him. Who knows? But I think that whole opening was very, very, very interesting, and I hope they keep showing us little nuggets like that, because that was cool to see something that takes place after Breaking Bad. They didn't say it, but I'm calling it right now. That takes place after Breaking Bad. Alright. And you see Saul in the courtroom. You see him doing his whole routine, coming up with his own routine, thinking up what he can do. He's assessing the jurors and stuff like that in his head. It's like, okay, what do I do? Do this, maybe this will appeal to him. It's really nice to get into Saul's head and see how he actually thinks. Now here's the kicker. Saul isn't Saul. He is Jimmy McGill, or James McGill. So that's weird. I don't know why they had to go the whole different name route. It's already in his character in Breaking Bad that he changes his name, but it's so weird that he just keeps changing it and keeps disappearing. So I'm assuming, just the way the story seems to be, that James McGill is his actual name. That's what it seems like to me. And, Yeah, and that's the Saul saying how he thinks, blah, blah, blah. Mike back is being amazing. He had just a little small role in this episode, but I'm pretty sure he's going to be a major character going forward throughout the series. And Mike was a fucking security guard. A parking garage attendant. And just to know what his character becomes in Breaking Bad, a hitman? That's so cool to see from a humble beginning. I mean, we already knew he had a humble beginning from the actual show, that he was a cop. Or was it? Maybe I'm getting bonus material mixed up. Maybe either the guy was really a cop in real life. No, I think Mike was a cop. I'm going to have to dig through all those old materials again to see. Disregard that. I'm not sure if that's accurate material. Not sure. Yeah, moving on. But yeah, Mike being back is amazing. Seeing James is... I'm just going to keep calling him Saul, because the show is Better Call Saul. So it's nice to see Saul and Mike's repertoire going back and forth. That was really cool. And Saul is definitely not as suave as he was before. He's less confident as James McGill. And you can see him kind of getting his mojo back in this episode. And, yeah, that's actually one of my other notes. It's one of my last notes, actually. And then there's the con artist scene where these two punks on skateboards try to con him out of $500. And that scene was amazing. That was the first time I saw Saul Goodman in this. I'm like, that's the character I know and love right there. Because even in the courtroom scene, he wasn't that confident. He was, he was getting a little cocky, but it was like he was forcing himself to be cocky. Here, at the con artist scene where they try to con him out of $500 by, saying that, oh man, you hit me, oh god, my leg hurts. That was definitely Saul Goodman, and the whole thing is like, oh yeah, you see $500 in this car? Yeah, the only way that car would ever be worth $500 is there's a $300 hooker in it. Beautiful. That is Saul Goodman. And, let's see. Another note out here. I said, hope this setup to Saul doesn't take too long. And this was midway through the episode. And I was just getting words like, oh, this is James McGill. When are we going to get to Saul? Because it's called Better Call Saul. This shouldn't take more than half a season, And, we meet his brother, Chuck, who was part of a law firm. God, what was the fucking law firm's name? Something Hammond McGill? Maybe, I'm not sure. Something McGill. And he's the 1/3 share of this law firm, but he's been out of the office for a year to some ailment. And that's one of my notes. I was like, what the fuck is even wrong with Chuck? Because they don't tell us. And I don't know, it's just so weird. It's like they don't tell us what the hell's wrong with him. But he's like, oh, I'm sick. I'll get over it. Don't worry. That is definitely one of the biggest negatives to me for this episode, because now's to explain shit. It's your opening episode. Come on. Give us some context here. But something to note here is that James is selfish. Chuck is selfless. And while James does really care about Chuck, he only cares about himself and Chuck. Chuck cares about everybody else. You see this in the scene where James Saul is talking to Chuck, and he says, why don't you just quit, cash out, take your money and run. It's like, well, yeah, for them to pay, for the other partners in the firm to pay me, they might have to close down the firm. What about my clients? What about their cases? They're just going to be in the wind. I can't do that to them. That was a really interesting character moment for Chuck, that he really does care about other people. And pretty much Saul is like, fuck them. I just care about you. We're going bankrupt. We're living in, shambles. We shouldn't do this because you're literally sitting on millions of dollars, and you shouldn't do that. And that's definitely interesting that those, the two brothers have their different sides like that. James is selfless. Chuck is selfless. So maybe that'll come back into play. I don't know. But that was a really, really cool scene. I don't know what the fuck's going on with Chuck's house. You have to ground yourself, keep your cell phone in the mailbox. I would love some fucking context to that, please. The whole, just like, character of Chuck needs some context. Why is he living in the dark? Why do you have to fucking ground yourself at the fucking thing from Electro Man? I don't know if that was definitely confusing. They really could have fleshed that out, just saying. Alright. His brother's firm wants him to change his name, create his own identity, because he's going under the lawyer name of James McGill because it's his name. But people are getting him confused with their law firm because McGill is in their law firm. So really, to fix that, all has to be done is Chuck has to leave and they take his name off the firm. But, really, Chuck is hurting his brother as well because it's hurting his business, and now he's going to have to change his name. And they lay a little fucking Easter egg in there, pretty well. It's like they lay a seed, not Easter egg. And his brother Chuck tells him to create his own identity. So that's definitely something that is going to come back and play because we know that he changed his identity to Saul Goodman. And Saul starts to get his mojo back. And that's when he goes and meets the two skateboarders who tried to con him and told them how he used to con people all the time back when they lived up north. And where he would slip on the ice and get $2,000 a pop. No, $8,000 a pop, sorry. And he promised these two kids $2,000 to do a little scheme. And what it was earlier in the episode, he had a client slip by, and he wanted to reel that client in because they didn't think they needed a lawyer. Well, basically he was going to con them into getting a lawyer. Use the cons to con the person that he... It's a very complicated plan, but it's really, really interesting, and it's definitely Saul Goodman-esque. So basically, they plan out this elaborate plan to have the lady drive by, and they do the same thing they did to him, but they run in front of his car her car with the skateboard. They do it, the whole thing goes down, she drives off. Like, the fuck? She just hit and ran. Everybody's freaking out. So the skateboarders chase her by grabbing onto a truck and yada yada yada. Just like in Back to the Future. And, it's late. They chase her down, and find out that it's not the woman they thought it was. It was this elderly Latino woman. And she doesn't speak any English whatsoever. And then they tell her De Niro, which means money. She takes him inside. They disappear. Saul tries to call him because they had already told him where they were going, and it was like a subdivision complex. And he's just scouring the whole place. Apparently, it's a huge place. And he finds their skateboards and helmets outside the car with the cracked windshield. Pardon me. The car with the cracked windshield. So he knocks on the door. Out comes a revolver on his head. Then out steps Tuco. Amazing. Amazing. I really, really hope that Tuco is going to be a major player in the series because we know he lives to at least the first season of Breaking Bad. Oh, second season. Like the first 2 episodes of the second season. So, Tuco really has a big empty plot of time to fill. And, like, what if his relationship with Saul in this series is with the same relationship that Saul had with Walter White? I think that would be very interesting. But that's where the episode closed, where you see Tuco has a gun to Saul's head, or James's head. And then they showed the little sneak peek in next week's episode. You see them inside his house, yada, yada, yada. We'll talk about that tomorrow's episode. We'll talk about that tomorrow, actually. Fuck yeah. But, yeah. I gotta say, I really did enjoy the first half, oh no, the first third and the last third of this episode. The middle, I don't know. The middle was the definite weak spot of this, and that's why I don't have a lot of notes on the middle. And middle mainly was, you know, him dealing with the farm and his brother, and they didn't really give a lot of context to that stuff, and I guess that's why I didn't like it. But you know, the first third and the last third, those were already established with stuff from Breaking Bad. I think that's where this series is going to shine, and I really did enjoy those moments, and I hope this series evolves more into that, and the stuff that they do introduce that is exclusive to the series, please give context to. Because right now I don't understand the shit ton fuck crap about Chuck. I don't understand it all. He's a very interesting character. I want to know more about him, but you just haven't told me yet. So hopefully that gets fleshed out, and hopefully we get to see more stuff like this. But I'm running out of time, so leave your thoughts in the comments down below. 8 out of 10.